You may consider certain people victims of racist depictions. Their entire culture is made fun of in children's fictions. An entire group of people is oversimplified for a laugh, but standards have changed after a time and a half. But here's the true victim, if you just take a look, the one who can't read his favorite Dr. Seuss book.
"What's the big deal?"
the true victim debated.
"Who cares if Dr. Seuss is culturally outdated? I'm the true victim here."
He stomped his feet.
"My favorite book is And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street."
It angered him that people took offense to the Chinese boy who runs with his chopsticks down
No.
I'm not gonna rhyme anymore. That's not okay. Question: is stopping the sales of certain Dr. Seuss books censorship? The Washington Times, seen here on the right side of the political bias chart, seems to think so. Cheryl K. Chumley says because if Dr. Seuss and his cartoonish characters can't pass the anti-racism muster of the faces of the left, how can Mark Twain's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn? And then she goes on to list several other titles, Little House on the Prairie, Peter Pan, etc. The age-old "where does it stop?" argument, a question that's been asked a lot recently, whether it's Dr. Seuss, the Muppets, or the potato headline of toys. So let's answer. Where does it stop?
Okay, well, I'll tell you where it stops. Somewhere. Anytime someone asks, where does it stop, the answer is always somewhere. You might let your kid have Twizzlers, but not inject black tar heroin. You don't just go, well, after the Twizzlers, where does it stop?
The answer is that there is no formal line drawn. You look at something, you assess how much is worth preserving and how much you're willing to lose, and then you make a decision. It's important to note that the Dr. Seuss estate was not pressured into making this decision. This was by their own volition. Frankly, I'm totally willing to lose these books that I admittedly have never heard of before last week. And removing these books from stores reduces the number of insulting representation of certain ethnic groups. Dr. Seuss wasn't a martyr who died for the cause of telling it like it is or depicting people as they are. He wrote stories with racial stereotypes, and that's because that was the way that he and other people of his time saw these racial groups. And he did so because it was okay to see people like this. But there is a silver lining. The Chicago Tribune, seen here on the political bias chart, has an article by Clarence Page. In it, she says that inside the Sneetches, the Zacks, Too Many Daves, and What Was I Scared Of, among other stories, you can find messages of tolerance, acceptance, respect, and other virtues that have won international praise from educators. So, my conclusion is to see Dr. Seuss as a human being, acknowledge he has flaws that should not be in circulation, as well as promoting the great stories and lessons that should, as well as seeing other people of certain ethnic groups as human beings, instead of allowing future generations to see them like this. This is Shane Haney, signing off.